Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. Casey Dehle here with Propelio TV. I am beyond excited for today's live. We have an amazing guest, Tony the Closer, and we are going to get right into it right after a word from our sponsors.
Hey, I'm Ryan.
Hey.
What's up, everybody? Tony the Closer. What's going on?
Excited, man. We've been talking to you for the past like 20, 30, 45 minutes. It's just like, man, shit, I should be recording this. We should be recording this. We should be recording this.
And we have been, so.
Yeah, so if you're new to Tony, make sure you check out TRob56 on Instagram. Amazing content. We were talking about that before, consistency. And you just pumping out stuff right now. So it's
Absolutely,
awesome.
Yeah. Man, I really appreciate you guys having me here. Obviously, we're in Dallas, Texas right now. Max Maxwell has the We Live 19 event, which is going amazing right now. You actually got to do a Q&A with Gary Vaynerchuk yesterday, which was pretty cool. So we had Gary V in the building. And obviously, I wanted to come in. We talked yesterday, and I was really excited to come in.
Yeah, well, a lot of people were asking you when you were taking the stage, right?
Yeah.
So not this time, but we have him here. So we want to take
While I'm in
advantage
Dallas,
of your time.
Here. We're going to talk, man. I wanted to talk. Shit,
Yes,
y'all like
and
my mouth, man.
So we don't want to hold you back. Why don't you tell everyone out here who you are, where you came from, and what you're doing?
Real quick, though, I do want to interject, sorry, only because like you're Tony the Closer, and it's like I'm already closed. You haven't sold me shit, but I'm ready to give you money. So pay attention, keep with us this whole episode. I promise you this will be great. So go for it, man.
Yeah, man. So I'll try to give like the speedy version of who I am. Grew up originally in North Philadelphia. Mom and dad separated. Hardworking mom. She was in the fast food industry, working 2 jobs, always on the go. My father was in North Carolina in the military. When I was about 12 years old, I moved to North Carolina because I was being bad as hell. Ended up moving with my dad, and you know how that experience goes. You go from being with your mom to your dad. My dad was military at the time, so it went from like a North Philly little bad kid to I went to like boot camp.
Yeah.
And so 1996, moved to North Carolina. And start, really, honing in on football and making my mind from that early age that I was going to be an athlete, and football was my path. And happens to be Max Maxwell. He was one of my Pop Warner friends, and we just kind of.
So y'all go way.
We go way back.
Long time.
Because I know you were saying earlier, Max my best friend, but this day and age, best friend could be, man, me and Casey, we're close. We know each other a year and a half.
Yeah. Yeah, this is like really like longevity.
Y'all have grown
Lifetime.
together.
Yeah, longevity. So since 12 years old, we've been really just super close, trying to figure out our journey. Max went into the military. I was a college athlete. Ended up playing, being an All-American in college, getting an opportunity to play in the NFL for the Seattle Seahawks. Max was like a huge supporter in that movement. I didn't go the traditional route, so I was a actual undrafted free agent, and you had to go through the extra steps to try to make it. So this is 2006. Max and I were creating YouTube content, and at the time I knew nothing about YouTube. I think YouTube actually had just started, and Max started recording my workouts. We created a website called roadtonfl.com, and every day. Max wasn't an athlete for starters. Like you can tell by, he's not like super athletic. He was our kicker.
Woo!
I always take shots on him about
We need a new golden nugget, except it's the shade. It's the shade.
I
like
always
it's a
give
cloud.
He was our kicker. So like, he's like big black Jamaican kicker. So it was like
Max, it's not me giving shade, it's this guy.
we always do that. He knows that. So, but he was like, just my truly supportive all the way through the process. He actually put together a highlight tape for me. So we start, this is the cool part because people, when you look at how people use postcards and things of that nature now, we created a highlight tape that Max put the 50 Cent Get Rich or Die Trying soundtrack to. And just a crazy story. We looked up every pro personnel director in the NFL, every scouting director, and we start sending out my highlight tapes to each of those teams. And back then, we did what was traditionally like people doing now with like postcards. We were using different color envelopes and things to try to bring
This is for the
attention to someone.
NFL.
This is for the NFL.
You know what's funny is that's a callback to we interviewed a guy named Scott Dickers, and he created this thing called The Onion. If you're not familiar with it, it's like this huge satirical fake news publication from the 80s.
Okay.
And he taught us the whole you got to be in 7 mediums, and we're like 7. What are you talking about? So there's video, and then there's print.
Yeah, he's
and
like
he's
street
art.
marketing.
So it's comparable to the same conversation of like you got to get eyes on.
And
it.
did y'all catch that though? The things that we're telling you to do in real estate, he's doing in NFL, you know, and riding with the tide.
Translates.
It just looks different.
Yeah, so it's like, how bad do you want something? I always tell people, we always say we want things, but like, are you really willing to put in the work and make the sacrifice to do it? So first off, what we had to do is we had to go and find all these pro personnel directors and everybody from each team. So it's like we're doing the same thing you would do right now, driving for dollars. You go find you find a team, but now we got to go and find who we need to get in contact with in order to have a point of contact to even see if we can have a conversation. So we found a list of all the pro personnel directors. So we go to the NFLPA. Found by looking. We looked pretty hard, and we found every pro personnel director, college scout in the NFL, and we began sending out the DVDs to each and every team. And everybody, I sent with a delivery confirmation with a return receipt, so I knew that it was signed for and that it was received.
Smart.
And I would literally, the minute that I saw that it was received, and this, I'm gonna tell you something, we were broke as hell. Like Max had like a 3,000 square foot house. I was literally living with Max in this house. He was a broker at the time, and he had it. I didn't have anything. I was just like college guy, just getting out of college and trying to get my dream fulfilled in the NFL. So we were taking every dime that we had. We're eating like ramen noodles in training and eating bowls of cereal. Like bare necessities. Sleeping on an air mattress, and we literally just grinded. Until we found like teams that were, going to even give us an opportunity. So every day I was working out, and then I would get on the phone and I would call every pro personnel director and college scout that I had sent the DVDs to. So cool story is everybody saying no. And it was just like, I was like, hey man, just take 30 seconds and check the first 30 seconds of the tape. If you don't like the first 30 seconds, I'll never call you again. I had the same spiel that I said to every single pro personnel director, college scout, and everything else.
So basically, you were direct mail marketing to them and cold calling.
Yes.
With the follow-up. That's beautiful.
Absolutely. So one day, I saw Will Lewis from the Seattle Seahawks had received my package, and I gave him a call, and by chance, I did some really creative stuff. So I called the secretary. They had, it's always levels. You're trying to get through the gatekeeper, and the secretary answers the phone, and I say, "Hey Janice, how you doing? I just got off the phone with Will. Do you mind passing me back to him real quick?"
Smart.
So
gatekeeper, bye.
So she goes, okay, sure, no problem. And Janice, it's crazy how I still remember their names, right?
Yeah. Janice
passes me to Will Lewis, who's a pro personnel director. And I said, hey, Mr. Lewis, how you doing? Tony Robinson. Just know that you got my package, and I just want to see if you would take the first 30 seconds to watch it. And if you do and don't like it, I'll never call you again. And he goes, who are, he didn't know who I was at all.
Caught him off guard.
Caught him off guard. Hey man, I'm looking for an opportunity. Check the first 30 seconds of it. If you don't like it, I'll never call you again. And he goes, well, I'll take a look at it and I'll call you later. I said, no. Just while you're on the phone, please, man. While I got you, I need the first 30 seconds. I just need 30 seconds of your time. If you give me the freaking 30 seconds, that's all I'm asking for. And he was like kind of hesitant. You hear him pause for a minute.
Yeah.
And I hear him tear open the actual envelope. Envelope rips open. I hear his CD drive open up, and then I hear the music. And when I heard the music drop, the tears start going down my face.
Because you got him.
Because I knew I had him at that point.
Yeah.
I knew it was over with. All I needed was the opportunity, and I knew I would get in there. I still get chills to this day.
That gives me a little bit of chills.
Thinking about it.
Yeah.
And he was like, I'm gonna call you back. Within 30 minutes, he had called me back, had booked my flight. Janice had booked my flight. I was going to Seattle.
I remember Janice's name too. She booked my flight.
I was headed to Seattle to go in for a workout. So, I'm all excited. I'm like, hey Max, we finally got an opportunity to get in this thing, man. It's like, we're ready to go. I get to Seattle, and there's 5 other linebackers. They were all from like D1 schools also coming into a workout. And I'm like, shit.
So you went from a high to real low real quick, huh?
Very quick, because like I had knew these names, so it was intimidating as hell, because you see guys that were coming from like major schools, USC, Florida State.
Because they've been on TV for years. They're huge stars already.
Guys that I had just, they had either NFL experience or very major teams already. So I was like, oh my God, man. But I blew it up. I destroyed the workout, and I was the only linebacker that was signed out of the workout.
Nice.
Ended up going through that season, getting allocated to NFL Europe, and injured my foot in Europe for NFL Europe. So the bullshit job that I didn't want to go to was the NFL Europe job, and that's where I ended up getting hurt, and it kind of changed my career path. So while I was going through rehab and everything else, I went back home, and my sister was working for Rick Hendrick Dodge, and I went to go buy a car from my sister, and ended up getting pitched the opportunity to be a salesperson. At this time, I was unemployed, and I really had no experience in selling anything at all. Didn't know much about cars.
Did that scare you at all? Like
absolutely.
not having that?
I saw my sister having some success with it, and I was like, I know if she can sell, I can sell. And because she's not a salesperson.
But do you think that comes from your family heritage, or just it was more of like my brother sister type of competition?
Confidence or
like if my sister do it, I can do it.
Well, I guess it was just because she's my sister. I'm like, man, I know if Keisha can do it, I can do this too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
And I had got so many from Enterprise. I was trying everybody, and everybody was just turning me down. I had dreadlocks. I was like fresh out of football, so I was a real at this point I looked like an athlete. 240 pounds. Like walking into an office looking like a freaking linebacker, and people like, holy crap! Like this is dude.
You better buy my car, or you dead.
But the main thing was people were like, "Are you gonna cut your hair before you come in here?" Like people wanted me to make a transition and look a certain way before they would even give me an opportunity. But Hendrick ends up giving me an opportunity. I actually kept my hair, and I end up busting my butt there. The first month I get into the business, we go into a sales meeting. And they had a board of all the sales guys, and they were asking everybody, what was your goal for the month? And there was one sales guy who was the top guy at the store that was like, he was going to sell 17 or 18 cars. And, I'm the new guy, and I'm just such a cocky ass. Like, when I see him say 17, they ask me, hey, they're going through the room, everybody's like 4, 6, 8. They get to me, they're like, how many are you going to do, Tony? I said, 20.
Yeah.
and Sean looks at me, I still remember Sean's name too. He looked at me like, oh, you little cocky bastard. You think you're going to come in here and you think this is just easy. And I was like, yeah, write me down for 20. And my sales manager was like, I'll put you down for 8 to 10. I said, put me for 20. So he put me down for 20. He said, if you don't get it, you won't keep your job. I said, no problem. So for the next couple of days, I literally ate and slept and breathed the dealership. I tried to consume myself with as much information as I possibly could as far as cars, sales,
wait.
everything.
So you made that goal of 20 before you had a clue what the job even was?
I didn't know shit.
And they said basically,
That's
so whatever
great.
number you put down, if you didn't reach that number, you were
gone.
cut. Was that the thing?
So because I was being such a cocky ass, and
That's what he said.
The goal for the average salesperson sells 6 to 8 cars a month. I said I was going to do 20. So if I didn't hit my goal, he was going to terminate me. For one, I had dreads and I was a black guy, so I was feeling like it was already just like I was already on ice.
Yeah.
And we start off the month, and I just consumed myself with like I ate and breathed the car lot from the time the dealership opened at 7 o'clock for the service lane till 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night when the last person left the lot. I was going to be the person there.
This is what, 07, 08?
This is 2007, 2008, excuse me. Yeah. And that was my whole thing. I was like, now I'm going to fully consume and commit to having success in the auto industry. And I kind of remember like some of the stuff that was happening with me throughout the process of when I had just bought the car for my sister. The things that I went and shot my sister's price. Like, I was like, from my damn family, I was like, hey, look, I'm not sure if this is a good deal or not. Let me go to a couple other spots before I decide if I'm going to do this or not. So I was just putting myself in the perspective of how I felt as a buyer going into the dealership. And I start just basically reverse engineering how I felt and positioning myself to help people they're coming to purchase cars.
And real quick, if I jump in, that's like sales 101. We talk about that here at Propelio so much about you are not the hero of your story. We talk about Grant Kemp on Grant Teaches Something. It's like you're not the hero. You're not the protagonist. You're just the guide. You need to let the person, who you're trying to do business with, they're the hero. They don't give a shit about you.
Correct.
You need to remember that because, like in this room right now, I'm the biggest. I'm the guy.
Right.
But the reality is, if I'm trying to do business with you, I'm not the guy. You're the guy.
Correct.
And if you can't do that, if you don't realize that, you're never going to be. You could still do 1 or 2 deals, but you're never going to grow to massive success.
And to kind of just jump on that point, what I really like about what you said, and I kind of just want to kind of hone in on that, is the fact that a lot of people talk about sales. They say, hey, I'm not good at that. I'm not a closer. I'm not this and that. That's a bunch of BS excuses, you guys, because what he looked at it was a perspective of a person standing in front of you. They're looking for something. You've got something to sell them. Y'all just got to figure out what that commonality is. So that's the biggest barrier, I think, to people's brain in going into sales and being successful is that one little piece. And you were like that right from the get-go.
It's the mindset.
Yeah, absolutely.
Touching on my book, the 21 Proven Secrets, the secret number 1 for me is the mindset and how you position yourself to help people.
Well, real quick, just because I want to plug it as much as possible, where can they get that book?
You can get that book on Amazon right now. It's a bestseller. The Closer's 21 Proven Secrets. It's also, you can find an ebook copy on TonyTheCloser.com. But for me, it was literally mindset. So I came with an approach that I was going to help the people that were that had an interest in selling or buying a car. And my first month in, I sold 23 and a half cars.
That's amazing. So the goal was 20. You sold
20.
23 and a half.
Right. So
did the other top guy, did he stay, or he's like, well, I'm out of here?
No, he actually stayed, but he was like, holy shit, this kid is everywhere.
Yeah.
And for me, it wasn't that I knew everything, because at the time, even though I sold 23 and a half cars, it wasn't a lot of money I made because it was a lot of mini deals. I didn't understand how to hold gross. I didn't understand how to box trades and things of that nature to where you can make more money. But I was just committed at the number at that point. I was just running from numbers. I was like,
well, I don't want to go too far ahead because I know I did cut you off, and I wanted to get you back on that target. But when you were talking about putting yourself in the eyes of if you were going to be the guy, because it seemed like you had a little bit more to go that direction. I just want to give you the opportunity to do that because I did cut you off. Just because I wanted to make sure that people saw the power of that.
So I just wanted to make sure that as I went into helping people as far as them purchasing their vehicle, I was remembering the experience of how I even shot my sister. And I wanted to isolate and remove all the uncertainty of what people feel as buyers when they go into the car lot. So I started giving all the information. I would literally get in front of somebody and I would show them the invoice. I would show them everything that we owned it for. I was completely transparent. I was like, hey, look, I know you're going to want to make sure you're getting a good deal because I just did this myself. So I'm going to give you all the information to help you make a decision. Whether you decide to do business with me or not, I want you to see what transparency looks like. And obviously, I'm here to make money too.
And that seems rare in the car industry. I think it has a reputation for not being transparent. So you were really bringing an experience to people that they hadn't had before.
Correct.
Right?
But not just that. That can go into other industries. I think people are scared to let other people know that, yes, I am going to make money. So like in real estate, they don't want to let people know that, oh, I'm about to make 50 grand.
Correct.
You know, I don't know if I would say, hey, I'm about to make 50 grand on your ass. But if you were like, hey, this is my business, this is what I do, this is how and this is why I have the ability to make what I do. Could you do it? Possibly. But
Absolutely.
This is right. So it is a business. So I think people are hesitant, scared, or I don't know. They just don't want to put that out there.
But I get it. That's why I tell people all the time, it's like understanding what you do, that everything is evolved around helping people get to their end goal. Zig Ziglar said it best. He said, you help people get what they want in life and you can have everything you want. And
that's like a golden nugget, I feel like, honestly.
Was the most hesitant request for a golden nugget of all
nuggets,
time.
please. No, I really want to. I want to just kind of pause on that honestly, because a lot of people are going in. I'm going to do this because I need to make X amount of money, and I need to do this, and I need to do this. You had a goal in mind, but at the end of the day, you were like, I'm just going to help you get to where you need to go, and my lag goal of 20 cars is going to be a result of that.
Absolutely.
There's a lead goal, lag goal. There's the subtask to get there, and that was yours.
Absolutely.
That's big. That's good stuff.
So then it was kind of cool, right? So I hit this goal of 23 and a half cars, and people say, how did you get half of a deal? So what happens is, if another salesperson is involved in the deal, then it's a split deal. So it goes to a half a unit. And I was so hungry to get the 20, I was skating people and everything. If I was stealing deals from people and shit, I was just like, man, I was like, hey man,
this sales guy's about to go to the restroom. Oh yeah, the bathroom's there.
Is Mike here today? No, I don't know where the hell he's
Who's
at,
Mike?
man.
Oh, he quit.
That dude's out
He's
here.
on another lunch break,
so
man.
I had a lot of people at the beginning when I first got in, and I was kind of rubbing people the wrong way.
Yeah.
So I had to clean up a little bit of that part of it, but ultimately, like, it was me running after a goal so aggressively to obviously keep my job for one, because prior to I had been unemployed for a couple months.
But
so.
yeah, it goes back to being hungry, and you were talking about before, and I don't know if it was in the truck or here, but about being broke and about being that desire and having that drive, and that's such a common theme for the most successful people in our industry in real estate.
Man,
So
I
it's
tell
great.
people all the time, like, a lot of people say they don't want to, be broke anymore. They want their financial situation to change, but they do the exact same stuff. There's nothing that they change about their situation.
Yeah.
So for me, I knew the only way I was going to do and change everything about me is to help as many people as I possibly could.
That's great.
And just that month, I sold 23 and a half cars, and I probably made like $7,000, which it was like not shit for 23 cars, right? It was good money. Obviously, making $7,000 when you didn't have checks coming in was good. But people were like, dude, you made $7,000. You sold all those damn cars. It wasn't, you didn't really. That's not impressive.
So before we go to break, I do want to start plugging this early. The It's Our Time hashtag. It's our
It's
time.
our turn. It's our turn, man. Yeah.
Man, you
Did I mess
screwed
it up
that
again?
up.
Yeah, it's our turn.
It's our
So,
turn,
yeah.
man. I see it on the screen up there.
So what is that? So we can get our audience to start using it, and we can talk about it more throughout the. What is that before we go to break?
Yeah, man. So through all the real estate investing and just in general, people always like make it about just themselves. And it's like a very selfish approach to life, and life is very lonely when you make it only about yourself. And last year, Max and I, like in October, had the We Live event, and I saw some of the people who were impacted by what Max had did as far as building the brand, sharing advice. And Max actually, he came up with the name Tony the Closer because he was like, he knew how good I was in sales, and we just started kind of talking about some things in the industry that were kind of like missing spots. And he was like, hey man, like, bro, like, you got a special skill set. I'm gonna call you Tony the Closer and tell my audience about you. And at that We Live event, I started hearing stories of people who were like in some bad spots. I mean, like in some fucked up spots. And the information that they had got off like the YouTube and free information helped them change their life. And it was like some extreme like stories that were being shared with me. And I kind of had like a money first approach when I first like got into like this business. And when I saw that, when I saw that people who had impact, that maybe if they didn't have the financial means to afford me or whatever, that they would be isolated out of the help that would be necessary to keep them from going and robbing and stealing or whatever else. And I was just sitting there one day, and I was like, man, I'm gonna go live on IG, and I'm gonna go every freaking day, because somebody, you never know who's listening, and it's like, it's important to just give out information as much as you can. And late October, early November, I started going Instagram Live every freaking day.
This was last year.
Last year.
So fairly recently.
Very recent.
Yeah.
And I just start like really wanting to just pour into people and helping them get out of these situations, because that with me, for example, I have a skill set that I've trained so aggressively and so heavily that I can help people, close deals. And I was like, man, I saw somebody say, hey man, it's my turn. I want to make some money. And it just hit me. I said, no, it's not your turn. It's our turn.
Nice.
And the minute that we all understand that through a community aspect of uplifting each other and pushing each other to greatness, that we can all hit our goals and we can all get to where we want to go, will make everybody better. No matter if you're black, white, or whatever, we need to stop the division and we pull together, and that thing will literally just become a whole
That's one thing I love about our industry, and we're going to go break right after this, but we say it all the time, is when it comes to real estate, nobody cares you're black, you're white, you're female, you're male, you're gay, you're straight, you're whatever category there is. If it's all about the numbers. If the deal works, the deal works. If we can JV, let's JV. I don't even have to like you. Let's just do it. Correct. So that's what I love about this industry.
Yep.
So if you like what you're seeing, please drop some likes, some shares. If you don't follow Tony the Closer, follow him, TRob56 on Instagram. We're going to be diving right back in. There's so much more to get to. We haven't even gotten to, we're still early in this conversation. So make sure you stick around. We'll be right back. Give us some likes, give us some shares, and let us know what you think.
And you guys over there.
The Propelio Academy, an all-in-one education resource for training in wholesales, subject to wraps, short sales, flips, rentals, BRRRR, property management, and more. Go to propelio.com/academy to get your scholarship today. Propelio.com. What does Propelio offer? Lead generating websites, access to true MLS comps, off-market lead lists, and deal alerts. Get them all today at Propelio.com.
Hey everyone, we're back with Tony the Closer. Tony the Closer. He's telling us how he got started in this industry, and you were just talking about abundance mentality and hashtag it's our time.
It's our turn.
I did it again!
It's our turn. It's all good.
It's because I'm so used to hearing his voice. It's our turn.
It's our turn, baby. It's our turn.
Let's just say it's our turn.
You
It's
know
our
what?
turn.
I will say that sitting here and talking to you, because we talk to a lot of people, and there's really smart people, there's really rich people, and there's people that you're like, man, I'm feeling what you're digging, but you have a vibe, and I don't know if it goes through the screen, but like just sitting next to you, man, it's like,
Yeah, it does.
there's like an aura of like, man, this guy's a badass.
Like I feel, I'm getting chills. I'm like, let's go close some deals. Like I'm getting excited.
Yeah.
Man, I'm going to tell you what, for me.
And we don't fluff, by the way. It's all real.
For me, I'm just passionate.
Yeah.
You can feel it.
This means something to me. Like helping people means something to me. When I tell people like when it means something, it matters. And that's like really what it's all about.
You can't fake it.
You can't
Dude,
fake it.
that's
When
a
it
nugget
means
there,
something-
Trey.
You can't fake
When
it.
it means something, it matters.
That's why you hear so many people talk about, especially in real estate, right? They say, listen, you can sit there and start this industry with, I want the financial freedom with that number in your brain, but those are the people that are going to struggle and fail. You can only get so far with it. And so I love that you're kind of hitting hard on this. You have to be passionate, and you have to find what you're passionate about.
So from your point of view, when it comes to closing, Tony the Closer, is it more of the drive and the work and the hustle, or is it more of, okay, how can I get to the meat of actually closing? Is there some techniques, or is it just like, because I know desperation, because if I'm like trying to talk to a girl like and I'm all desperate, she's like, bye.
I'm gonna tell you, this is how
You see what I'm asking?
This is how I sold 20 cars in my first month, right? Mm-hmm. So obviously transparency was key because I was giving people all this information and letting them see exactly what we owned each product for. But because I had an NFL background, imagine how people looked at me as far as I wasn't the person that was going to take advantage of them. They, because
you're loaded.
I positioned myself, even though I was broke. I was like, hey man, I play football. I don't need your money, man.
Right. Because the perception. Yeah.
That is a golden takeaway. I used to do that in sales too. Be like, listen, I don't need this deal. I get paid anyway.
Right.
Yeah. So I just really was like, I'm here to give you all the information to help you make a decision. If it works for you, fair enough. If not, fine. Like I just want to make sure that I take care of you either way. Whether you decide to go with a Chevy, if you decide to go with a Dodge, I'm just gonna give you all the information to help you make a decision. Period.
So on that, like what I heard, we all heard it obviously, but like you had the NFL experience, but you use it. You had this because we talked about this last week actually about find something that's your unique, unique in New York. I don't know, but you find your unique quality and put it out there, and that's what people will gravitate to. Even though on the backside of it, it might not be full. Like, hey, maybe my wallet is empty, but the perception of you're unique is, man, he's in the NFL. He's got to be loaded. Why is he doing this? He's just helping his friend out sell some cars. That's what I would think.
Yeah, so it's important. Like I tell people even now, transition into speaking about real estate and how I tell people every day when I go to a seller appointment or anything, it's always about positioning. You know, I'm always busy. I got a lot of other appointments to go to, and I'm here to provide you value on this amount of time that I have allocated with you. And I don't need your house. I want to help you solve your problem.
Right. So you're not coming from a place of desperate. We always say don't be a desperate buyer.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
And so no matter what position you're in, you've got to take. I call it just the takeaway. You're taking away because immediately someone's response to you is you want something from me, and their guard goes up. Right.
Correct.
It's automatically there. There's some people in sales who always say get as many no's out as you can. Like make them say no. A lot of people try to go the other route. They get people to say yes, yes, yes. I think to get people to say no, you're just breaking down that wall to a place of, hey, man, we're cool. We're on the same side of the table. I don't need this. It's all good.
So for me, I'm super big on the relationship. Whoever I'm doing business with, I want it to be a relationship, and I set like an expectation with every seller, everybody I do business with, like, hey, this is team us. And you gotta understand, like I know you probably talk to a whole bunch of other people who may, be trying to prey on you and take advantage. But if this deal doesn't make sense and make you feel good, then obviously it's not going to work. So,
I love hearing that. And I just want to throw up a tip that I got from Grant. Actually, Grant, I keep it like Grant because I love the guy. Is like when you're walking a house, stand beside each other. Because right then we're side by side. So when you do come to the negotiation table, we're still side by side. It's not me versus you. It's us trying to make this deal work together.
I literally don't sit across the table from people during negotiation. I sit directly side by side with them. That's one of my actual techniques I train.
There's your
There
nugget.
you go.
There you go.
Sit side by side.
So the face to face from across the table, a lot of people feel like their guard is up.
Yeah.
So.
Well, there's at least a 3-foot barrier of wood.
Correct. So even in my car sales experience, I realized that if I was sitting side by side and being super transparent, and I'm so real in my conversation, like I'll tell people like, hey, look, like stop being a bitch, like like this is the best decision for you. We've already talked about it, so I ask enough information to make sure before I even go and look at a house, for example. Or if I'm in the car industry, before I even go take them to the lot to go start going around, I'm asking questions. What are they hoping to accomplish? What's your ultimate end goal? How can I make sure that I get all the information now so I can know exactly where to direct you? Mm-hmm. And then I set up the stage where we're friends. So the minute that we become friends, and it's not just like this awkward person that I'm dealing with, I can say things that are a little more edgy that I can invoke a decision one way or another.
Right.
Because you built that rapport.
Because the rapport is there. So a lot of people get on the telephone with the seller, and before, like in the first 2 minutes of the call, they're talking numbers. They're talking about house size of the house and things of that nature. They hadn't built any rapport. They hadn't built any credibility for themselves.
They're like, hey, how was your son's football game?
So I call that. I always call that when I help train people. I say you have to earn the right to ask them. For that relationship, you have to earn the right. To earn the right, you have to get to that place. And I heard you talking about a close one day, and it's along these lines because you say everybody gets hung up on the numbers. It's the first thing they want to know. It's a lot of sellers when they pick up the phone are going to be like, well, what do you want to give me? Give me your best offer, right? And you said something about getting that out of the way, right?
Absolutely.
So that you can get. So you take that kind of point and you kind of put it over here to back your way in. To the conversation. So how do you do that?
So,
what do you say?
When people ask me about price, no matter how it comes up, whether somebody's offered me X amount of dollars or whatever, the minute that I hear it, because you know what's about to come, I go, whoa. It wouldn't be fair for me to know. Keep that to yourself, because price is the easiest part of my job. What I need to do is ensure that what we're actually looking at is property can fulfill what we need to do on both sides. I need to come and take a look at it because obviously over the phone we can talk numbers, and I just think like, to be a professional, I need to be face to face with you, taking a look at it. Obviously you wouldn't expect me to buy without seeing it. I'd be glad to give you all the information, make this process as seamless as possible. When's a good time for us to get together, today or tomorrow? And it just literally, it started making it so much easier for me, because that's something I got out of the car industry. Because I sucked on the phone at first. And I was like, everybody was like, hey man, I just looked at stock number, da-da-da-da-da-da, how much can you get me for it? And I was trying to like talk price over the phone, and then people were hanging up on me, and then my sales manager's like, bro, if you keep doing that, like we're not gonna allow you to handle phone calls because you're throwing away leads. You're blowing our money.
Now, considering that that's over a decade ago, this is important because nowadays, right, you don't have so much of a barrier in terms of information, right? A lot of times we're in a position where we have the control, we know the numbers, the knowledge, but it's the internet age. People can look up numbers, they can shop, stuff like that.
Correct.
So with that being said, even with homeowners that can go on Zillow, look at numbers, they kind of have an idea of what their home's worth. You still find a great success with this technique, right?
Absolutely.
Right.
Transparency. I 100% show all the information. Like I expect my sellers to be informed, just like I expect my buyers in the auto industry to be informed. I mean, Google and everything is so quick for people to have access to it. I think so many people make the mistake of trying not to be transparent. They want to try to show the low comp only, like the person hadn't looked at the information in their neighborhood.
Right, people are looking at.
People don't know that their neighbor just sold their house for $200,000.
They all know what their neighbor sold their house for.
But what happens is you have a lack of credibility at that point because now that person's like, oh, you just want to show me the stuff that's going to be to your advantage and your advantage only. And I say I'm the exact opposite. I'm going to show you everything. One of the things I used to do in the auto industry, I would show somebody the invoice. And I say, hey, look, hey, Mike, obviously, like, I own this vehicle for $23,000. Here's the invoice. I'm glad to let you go through and review all the numbers. But here's a couple things that's important to know. The government in North Carolina, our sales tax is 3%. I said, the government's going to make 3%. They didn't have to deal with you or none of your shit for the last 2 hours. I deserve at least what the government's going to make in every transaction. So
that's strong.
So every single time, I would go from not having, I'd go all the way to zero on my invoice. I'm saying, hey, look, at this point right here, at the 23,000, we make nothing. The government's gonna make 3%. They don't even have to deal with you. I should make at least that. Matter of fact, I think I deserve double. Before you know it, I was making more money. I was making more gross than before because I would ask people, how much do you think I'm supposed to make in this transaction? And they'll say $3,000. So now it's like, okay, perfect. I'm bumping $3,000 from invoice, and
it's perfect. And again, I keep calling back, but one of the things that Grant always likes to say is like, look, this is a business. Like, and if you come at it with like, I'm here to help you, I'm here to help you, and they're like, well, I need a lower deal. Well, if you're here to help me, give me a better deal. It's like, well, I'm here to make money.
Yeah, you got to put your skin in the game. You have to, like, I'm totally this way when I go with sellers as well. And I think what I always love to do, it's similar, right? So you say, hey, listen, if you go with a realtor, which I am a realtor, so it's easy.
Plug.
If you go, well, I don't, anyway. I'd rather buy your house. Hey, listen, if you go this route, they're going to make X%, and they aren't even going to, they're just throwing it up. They don't know the numbers, the neighborhood, blah, blah, blah. I mean, you can go any route. But I think that's a strong close, is how much do you think I should make on it? And then you can be super transparent about it.
Absolutely. Like, I love to just be real. I tell people exactly what to expect throughout the entire process. I set up expectations. I let them know just kind of what's going on. Because a lot of people don't understand that sellers haven't been through this process, but maybe once or twice in their entire life. People don't buy houses every day.
That is huge.
Well, and that's the thing that as investors, we always forget. If you've been in 100 houses, the person you're talking to, they may have only been in that one house their entire life.
You got to make them feel comfortable.
Correct.
You got to.
So I think the power and the value always comes from giving enough information and being transparent. I let people know exactly what to expect. I let them know what the process is going to look like from beginning to end. And then from there, I'm not the only option for you. I tell people that all the time. Hey, you might be able to save a little bit of money dealing with somebody else, or make a little bit more money dealing with somebody else. But here's what I can tell you. The process and how easy I'll make it for you is going to give you more value than that extra little bit of money that you can make. So I just create a lane for myself. And it's so surprising when you're here, like every day every time I talk to a seller, they say, man, you sound so much different than everybody else. It's like a breath of fresh air. And it's because everybody's, so quick to try to talk money. They're so quick to try to think about what the potential profit can be for them, but they're not putting the seller in a position to, obviously be winning at the end of the day.
Goes back to it's my turn versus
it's our turn.
It's
baby.
our turn.
Yeah. So we're going to take another quick break, but before I do, I want to point out that the closers, 21 proven seekers, get it on Amazon. But not only that, at the end of this video, we'll do 10 random comment pickers. So drop your comments in Facebook, drop your comments in YouTube, and we'll be start sending those off. So, but I'm gonna literally do that link like within 30 minutes or an hour right after this live stream. So make sure you drop those in there, and we'll pick some random comments. So what does that mean? The more comments you make, the more chance you get to get this book. So stick around. We'll be right back. Looking forward to it. The Propelio Academy, an all-in-one education resource for training in wholesales, subject to wraps, short sales, flips, rentals, burr, property management, and more. Go to propelio.com/academy to get your scholarship today. Propelio.com. What does Propelio offer? Lead generating websites, access to true MLS comps, off-market lead lists, and deal alerts. Get them all today at Propelio.com.
Hey y'all, welcome back. We've been sitting here for a good little while talking about some amazing closes. Y'all need to be paying attention. And if you're just tuning in, we're sitting here with Tony the Closer. Has some amazing closes to help you sell more deals. So let's get back to it.
Yeah. And one thing I want to do is, because I know you just naturally flow. So what I'd like to do is the next 5 to 10 minutes, kind of let you get to wrap up the story that you have. Because I know Casey loves to be prepared. And she has that notebook full of questions. So
Always got questions.
Yeah, I know. So if you don't, so if I don't mind, like, I just want to keep on letting you just do what you do, man.
Yeah, man. So a couple things for me, and obviously, like the whole car experience, I went through 3 years of being an actual salesperson in the Hendrick Automotive Group. Every year, I was literally the top salesperson in the domestic group. I was selling 300 plus cars a year, really just making a ton of money as a salesperson, having a schedule that was like very relaxed because I had a really good customer base. 2011, Hendrick purchased a dead dealership in Hoover, Alabama. It was
I don't even know where that is.
Don Drennan Buick, and it was Birmingham area essentially. And when I got into this dealership, literally this was a dead dealership. They were selling about 6 cars a month. So you can imagine me as a salesperson, I was selling 20 plus cars a month in my sleep. And I'm going to a place in Alabama where I'm now getting my opportunity to run a store, and I get a shit store and a shit opportunity. So we get out this deal, and the first week that I'm there, Alabama has this EF5, the largest tornado in Alabama history, comes and just wipes out Tuscaloosa and everything else. This is my first. I'm like, shit, Rick, I gotta get out of here. I'm going back to North Carolina.
Wow.
That was like what, 2010?
2010 or
11.
Or 11.
I just remember that because I just remember Alabama football. They were like the whole team went to and just
10 or 11. I'm not exactly the year, but yes. And so I get in this dealership and it's complete shit. We had to start from ground zero, and in a couple months I took that to the #1 store in the Southeast.
So did you see that as an opportunity, or is that more like oh shit, I got to get to work?
Well, to me it was another challenge. I'm extremely competitive. I knew I was getting my opportunity, and I knew it wasn't an ideal opportunity. I would have rather been in North Carolina where it was the fully functioning, already running dealership. I didn't get the opportunity to do it the way I would like to do it, but I went and I freaking crushed it. I took a store that was completely dead and we turned it to GM's top store.
Did you do that through training your staff, the way that the techniques you learned, or you picked up?
It was crazy. So obviously, the crazy part of the story is like the average salesperson at this dealership when I got there was like 68 years old, and they had been in this deal for a long time. This was a store that the father, it was a family-owned store. The father owned it. He died. He passed it to his son. His son let it just run into the ground, and they just had the same team there for the entire time. So for one, I had to come in and I had to train guys who were pretty stubborn and stuck in their ways for a long time. Then I had to hire a whole bunch of new sales staff to ensure that we could obviously be successful. Well, as I'm doing this, I'm like literally like you talking about. I was the one-man wrecking crew. I trained my salespeople from the beginning. My process, I was training every single day. I mean, like relentless training every day. We get into work at 8 o'clock. We got an 8 to 8:30 sales meeting every day for 30 minutes. We're working on something, and it was just like I would have my salespeople literally, hey, you go meet the customer, introduce the customer to me. I will qualify and get all the information, ask all the questions to put the customer in the right vehicle, point them in the right direction. I have my salesperson then in turn go take the customer on a test drive. Then they would come bring them back to me. I would handle all the numbers, all the finance and everything. So I was like really, I was handling the full process on my own. I wanted to be hands-on with every transaction to ensure that we were getting these deals. And we ended up having like 50 new Buicks sold, which was like, we beat the Cary store, who was the store for the Buick store. Like it was like Rick's baby. I went to Birmingham and I whipped their ass.
I love it. I love it.
And what happened is GM and everybody noticed the obvious growth. I also noticed that my paycheck wasn't looking the way it should
It should be if you're raising them up like that.
If I was making them that amount of money and I was making them have that amount of success, I looked at a paycheck one day and at the time I was married, and I saw my check and I said, "This is it." I called my wife. I said, "Hey, look, pack your shit. We're going home."
Yeah, because we talk about that a lot too. If you, in business, if you appreciate somebody, pay them.
Pay them.
Absolutely.
And I called my wife at the time and I was like, "Hey, look, pack your shit. We're going home," because I know my worth. I knew that my value was more than anybody could pay me in a paycheck at that point. I understood that as an entrepreneur, I could gain a lot more and I could, touch a lot more people. And I opened up my own car dealership and everything's going well for a while, then that shit failed. I had one deal that went to crap and it was a major deal. It was like a $300,000 deal. I was basically working with athletes, high-end, NFL and NBA players, and I had an NBA player who messed up a really bad deal, and it cost me my entire business. So I told you guys in the car, Max and I, obviously always close. I'm an extremely good gambler. So for about 2 years, I was going around freaking gambling and just like living this crazy high life of winning. I was winning massive amounts of money on a level that was just like, really, it was like a movie. I'm going through the airport with, $1 million, $250,000 at a time in my book bag. It was literally a movie. It was crazy. And like I was letting.
Note to self: do you still do that? In which airplanes or flight? It's like Tanya or Nancy Kerrigan. You like get your knee.
I kind of changed my ways now, man. So
don't come mugging Tony. He does not have $1 million.
Well,
in his
I
book
wouldn't
bag.
approach you anyway, to be honest.
You got to be a badass. I'm gonna tell you that. So just I was getting involved in like the wrong stuff, and my mind wasn't right, and I ended up getting arrested. I went to jail in 2017. January, and I was in with $1 million down bond, and life was completely flipped upside down. So I spent 63 days in jail, and that was like my turning point. So I had hit rock bottom. I had to obviously bond out of jail on $1 million bond, go through the whole legal process, and this was like an all-time low for me. I mean, literally, like I had hit all-time low. Everybody I considered a friend, everybody that was the big supporter, partying with me and doing all that stuff, they were nowhere to be found. And one person that was Max Maxwell. Every single time I picked up the phone, everything that we did, he was just extremely supportive. And at the time I had just started doing the real estate stuff right before I got arrested with my father. So we started this national wholesale company, and 3 or 4 months into it, now I'm in jail. And I took about a 6-month window to get my mental capacity, worked on some things of the past that I hadn't addressed, and I went to counseling. It was like 100% fix myself before I could ever work on anything else. And
I just want to give you kudos on that because one, there's so many stereotypes about working on yourself and getting counseling, seeking therapy, just as a society as a whole.
Yeah.
And then you elevate to that the male psyche, that's even more. And then you throw on like the heritage, like African Americans, even more. So that good for you, man.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So I had to make a truly concentrated effort. The way I was committed to trying to be successful, I had to put the same type of work into myself, my personal health, my mental health. Had some unresolved stuff from my childhood that was still bothering me, and I hadn't really addressed it. And I took time to really truly commit to that. And the best thing I can tell anybody is I gave myself the ability to forgive myself and forgive others who caused hurt to me. And that's where ultimately like everything that's now happened has come for me, where I just truly say, you know what, it's going to be forgive myself. I won't hold on to any of my past mistakes. Nobody can hold anything over my head. And Max had been working on his YouTube, and he was like, "Hey man, it seems like you're ready to go, and I wanna make sure I can help you push you in the right direction. I'm gonna tell my audience that you're Tony the Closer, and you guys kind of know the rest."
And how long ago was that when he did that for you?
The truly unveiling of Tony the Closer was July of last year.
The true unveiling.
And real quick, if you're not familiar with Max Maxwell, just go to youtube.com and type Max Maxwell.
You'll find him.
You'll find him. He does a lot of good content. He was actually on a show here with Corey Thompson, Rough Deck Real Estate. So, and you have a YouTube channel as well.
Tony the Closer is my YouTube channel.
Done.
Yes.
So, it's all, again, going back to the abundance, it's our time.
It's our turn.
I thought I had it.
God.
Well, at some point, we're going to get them, guys. We're going to let them know it's our turn.
Votes for getting that tattooed on Ryan Harper.
But you know what, though? Maybe I'm doing it on purpose to highlight it that it's our turn.
There
It's
you
our
go.
turn,
But you know what's going to happen later? I'll be like, fuck, which one was it?
What I really like about the transparency in yourself is because I kind of want to take it, so amazing story, but I want to really break it down for people watching, the people who, everybody has to close deals. You
Right.
can't run this business without closing deals. You can get somebody else to do it, or you can do it. Something I found in my business is that nobody closes as well as my husband and I. So I don't, and of course you can train them, but a piece is missing. That mindset has to be there. And I always say you can't teach that. So for somebody who is in this place, right, they got to go in, they've got to talk to sellers, they've got to close deals. There's something that I've heard you talk about, and it's when people are first getting started. You have some advice for them. And a lot of times it's not to just go pick up the phone, right?
Correct.
You talk about actually making them go in person, and so many people are so fearful of both of these things, but I find that most people are more fearful of being in person.
Correct.
And after hearing you talk, I'd love your insight on this. What do you think is the mind block for somebody that's so scared to be in person, considering that you've got to be transparent and you have to be yourself in order to be really good at this? Two things then. What is the biggest barrier to people in their mind for going in person, and why do you suggest that they go in person versus being on the phone?
Sure.
Long
I
question.
think it's the first and foremost the fear of rejection. Everybody fears rejection and the unknown. They don't really know what to expect. They don't even know. A lot of people don't understand that this is even real. It's not real to them yet. Mm-hmm. So until they have the success and they understand that, helping people solve problems and being face to face can help them, shortcut a lot of that stuff. That they're in. It's all mental. It's like, hey, am I truly going to be able to even go in front of somebody and make them believe that I can buy their house and I don't even have the fucking money? Mm-hmm. A lot of people, that's a major worry for people. How can I, over the phone, you can hide, you can be sitting in your underwear at home, and it's like, you can say whatever. A lot of people, keyboard warriors or whatever, it's more comfortable for them. It doesn't mean because somebody says no, they're still hiding behind their own security blanket. But I encourage everybody to go face to face and meet people, because you can build more rapport. It creates a higher sense of perceived value, and it really, people can get more personable with you. They can decide if they truly like you or not. If you have a likable personality or whatever, that stuff, like, people resonate with real life people. It's so many people that are actually virtually wholesaling in their own market. Like, somebody's 10, 15 minutes away from them, and they don't even take the time to go drive to the property because it might be a waste of their time and they might say no. Mm-hmm. And to me, if a person has a property that they have a inkling that they want to sell, I want to have a conversation. I want to know what's going on and how we can figure something out that might be to their advantage.
Yeah.
And we talk about always having as many tools in your toolbox in this business. So if you're doing over the phone and it doesn't match that box, you're already on to the next phone call, the next lead. But if you're in person, you don't have to have a box. You can have, a whole case, or whatever analogy we want to use.
Correct.
It doesn't fit this, okay, it fits this. Doesn't fit this, go this route. And then, you need a listing agent? Well, I'm not going to use Casey because she doesn't want to do it, but I'll go to a different agent.
I do.
But my point being is, and then maybe Casey or maybe somebody, maybe they remember me next time and they float me a deal. So it's that abundance and working together, but having multiple tools.
I think it forces you to be yourself too. When we're face to face, I can't hide behind anything.
Absolutely.
As the person who's trying, you the seller, me the buyer, I can't hide. I have to figure out how to be myself. I remember the first sale appointment I ever went on, I was literally just shaking. And I remember going out of that and calling my boss and like, I screwed that up. And he goes, Casey, just make a friend. Start with making a friend and then worry about the rest. And that changed my whole career. So I think that that's great advice.
That's great information.
And I want to pick up on something. You shouldn't be face to face. You be shoulder to shoulder.
Shoulder to shoulder. There you go.
There's a nugget.
Shoulder to shoulder, in person, and all that kind of stuff. So really, a lot of people say, hey, cold calling is kind of the way. Marketing trends kind of ebb and flow. You're one of the first people that I think is really kind of honed in on that and saying, listen, don't pick up the phone if you're new. Just go door knock. Go. If you get a phone call, say, hey, listen, I'll be right there. That's big. A lot of people are terrified.
Do you do a lot of door knocking? Sorry.
I do.
No, you're good.
We got a little thing that we use deal machine a lot.
Yeah.
And we say, I'll deal machine your house, right? And then part of that is that we'll go door knock. We want to just have interaction. If you can't get them on the telephone, if you feel like you're really helping somebody solve a problem, you'll do whatever is necessary to get in contact with them. So absolutely, whether that means door knocking, cold calling, and on a massive, many attempts and as many approaches as I possibly can.
And I do want to throw this out there because I know some people are nervous about being an African American male door knocking a house. Can we get into that? Because I know,
man,
to me,
it's real though.
Because I hear if somebody says that, I'm like, that's just an excuse. No, man, you don't know what it's like. You know what it's like. Well, here's a guy that says he does it.
He's very successful.
Let's talk about it.
So honestly, I tell people, when you want something bad enough, don't worry about all that stuff because it's self-limiting beliefs. That's all it is.
Yeah.
For me, when I started doing my Instagram lives every day, I was super uncomfortable with being on a live in front of a camera and not being able to see, not being able to know who's on the opposite side or what to expect or anything like that. And now it's like, shit, man, I sit back here, I'm like, hey, man, we're just kicking it, man. It's just a good time. But it takes time to get to that point to where you're confident and comfortable with being around.
And you're only going to get there by doing it.
By taking action.
And speaking of, you just private. You just made your IG public.
I
so
did.
What's your IG handle?
My Casey buys houses, CASEY, Casey Dehle. But you went live with us right before, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's like my worst nightmare come true. But it's not that bad, and it was fun. And so now I'm going to take your advice and consistently go live and just be myself, because I think that's that was another question you kind of already answered. Was fear is obviously the biggest barrier to people getting into this business, and a lot of that fear is based on the fact that people don't have any money getting into the business. And you're saying, forget all that, put it away. It's about confidence.
Absolutely.
And how do you get confidence? You just go do it. You do.
Do it.
And fail. I always tell people, what is the worst thing that's going to happen? Go through those scenarios in your head. The door gets slammed in your face. Okay, you're never going to see him again. Listen, I've been to countless doors. I've only been attacked by a dog once, and it was a scheduled appointment. Okay, I never had an issue with people at the door.
And I personally haven't had any crazy.
I'm the only one that's had a shotgun on me.
Have you really?
Yeah, when I was 12 and I was doing a newspaper.
You were 12?
Yeah, I was doing door-to-door newspaper salesman.
Oh man, have you? What's like the worst thing that's ever happened to you at a door?
The worst thing that happened to me at a door was damn cats, man. I hate cats, man.
See? For me, a dog legit
dirty
attacked
houses
me.
is what happened to me. I hate filthy houses. I look at it.
But you know what?
Ooh,
What's
I
the
gotta
smell
tell you
of
about
cat
one.
piss? It's the smell of money, baby.
Yeah.
It is.
It's money, but damn.
I
I need to go change my shoes real quick. Hold on, man. I'll be right back. Let me
It's
get some new
true.
shoes.
As you drive home, you drive right by that dumpster here. You can have this shirt. You can have these
Drop all my
pants.
shit off, man. You can have all this shit.
I'm pretty sure.
This stuff is stained with that smell.
My husband and I have a reputation for finding these houses where people just defecate in their own house.
Oh my God.
And so but hey, do you know how much money these people are making off of these? But we were laughing. He's like, how rude is it to put shoe covers on before you enter? And I'm like, at this point, I don't think it matters.
It's been a couple properties I've been there where I wish I could have put a skin cover on because it was pretty disgusting inside. But,
It's true.
But outside of that, man, it's money opportunities, and a lot of people are in situations where they need to do something different to make some money. So you need to get your ass up there. And
So
start taking
here's
action.
my
Nothing to
tip
lose.
before we wrapped up too much. Always have a bottle of Purell in your car.
Absolutely.
Because there might be some people that you're looking at them, you're like, oh God,
call
I
it
do
the car
not
kick.
want to shake this person's hand. Just shake the hand.
Just shake the hand.
And then Purell.
If you open my car, you'll see Purell in the
Purell in the truck.
the thing. That's awesome. So the point is that listen, nothing that bad is gonna happen. So just do it. Go through that rejection until you don't care anymore, until you get that confidence. Because at the end of the day, you can't get the confidence unless you do it. That's it. So that's the takeaway from that one, for sure.
So what are some final thoughts on you, man? Your IG die?
It went out on us.
Oh, no worries.
And they're like, he broke Instagram.
Man, you know what?
He
But
broke
seeing him, how
Instagram.
quickly he's able to do that, I didn't know it was that easy to go IG live. I was like, how do you do it?
Yeah.
Click.
Did y'all that's a nugget. That he literally in 3 seconds went IG live.
Again.
He's on it.
On it.
He's on it.
And he's consistent. So what are some final thoughts this conversation we've talked about so much, like just to put a bow on it.
Maybe for like, what are your final thoughts on, or your best advice for your newest investors and maybe more seasoned investors? We'll give two ends of the spectrum.
So I think the thing that I really impress upon is everyone, new, old, no matter what your level of experience is in this business, if you feel like your business isn't getting the results that you want and you're not getting face-to-face with people, that's the number one thing I would tell everybody. The secret number 3 in my 21 proven secrets is get face-to-face with sellers, as many sellers as you possibly can, and work on your business and your craft every single day. This isn't people expect big results. Obviously, the checks that we get. I just had a guy the other day that made $78,000 in an assignment fee. Using that actual price is the easiest part of my job, rebuttal. And that was a fake, he was driving for dollars. He used the rebuttal when he called this person, and then he got face to face, and he was able to lock up the contract. And he had went about 6 to 8 months without a deal. And I think he had $500 left. He was drawing blood to be able to provide for his family. And just getting face-to-face with a seller, it changed his whole situation. Now he's got room to breathe. He ended up actually getting 7 contracts in 5 days, made over $130,000. And that's what, to me...
Did he get his blood back? He's like,
I'm
I
sure
don't need it. Can I get my blood back?
I'm sure his blood is back now. But I think that what that really says is like, if you feel like you really want something, you go and you put every single thing that you can into it until you get the results that you want. Yeah. And you have to see the process through. So many people quit way too early.
Did you hear that, Trey?
See the process through. It's not about the instant results and the instant gratification. You have to be able and willing to go all the way through. If it's 3 months, 6 months, if it's a year before you get your first deal, it's okay. Your path, don't use these Facebook groups as your measuring tool of your success. So many people chase other people's ghosts. Some people say that they're doing deals that they're not even doing.
Yeah.
So it's like, don't worry about what other people's message, their journey, and their story is. You go your way, you go your journey, and it's going to take care of itself.
So there's 2 words I want to give to real estate investors out there. When you are networking and you meet somebody like a Tony, he's like, man, I made $10 million on a deal last year. You don't say this to be rude, but in your head, it's like, cool, so what? That doesn't mean anything. We can still network. We can still be cool. So again, it's not a measuring contest. You can just hang out and you're a dude. I'm a dude. You're a dude. We're just
I'll
chill.
be a dude. That's cool.
Yeah.
And you don't see the struggle behind it, which is why I love these interviews, because you were in prison not too long ago.
Jail, not
jail.
Prison.
Sorry, not prison.
Did not go to prison.
I don't even know the lingo.
Prison, your ass is locked up.
Jail.
He's like, I'm real
You
quick.
were in jail.
Nope.
And not too long ago, and you kind of were up and down and up and down. I mean, shoot, your dad was in real estate he's been for decades,
23 years.
right? And I asked you why did it take you so long? And you had a lot of
I
things
just wasn't ready yet.
You weren't ready yet,
Yeah.
so
I didn't even realize my dad was as successful. I mean, I knew he was successful, but when I truly saw the dynamic of what he had built, I was like, holy shit, Max.
You're like, why didn't I try to do the NFL thing? Screw football.
Football. My dad makes more money than football players, man. Like, this is crazy, man.
Just buy a team.
Yeah. So obviously, just my journey and each of our journeys will all be determined by our own path, and you can't measure someone else's success by what yours is going to be.
Right.
You just go the course, man, and be consistent for what you want.
and a huge takeaway from that is every single person can read a script. I could probably go across 5 different closers, and they're going to read that script and do that in completely different ways. So what you're saying really is pull from who you are, be transparent about it, and just make your own way, because it's going to look different.
And I'm not a big fan of scripts because I think it makes you sound like a robot.
It does.
Y'all know what I'm about to say right now. #fuck scripts.
There you go.
So all these people, like, you know, it's so many people pumping scripts and everything else. I think the process and everything should be extremely natural. I think this framework of like things that are important that you should have asked and questions, but I don't go by a set template, because when you have somebody on the phone who's, you know, extremely guarded and they've been through some things, you're not going to be able to read that script and try to help that person, because that person's not going to be the person that's going to say hello. They're going to be like, what the heck do you want? How much money you can get me, and everything else. So it's really, really important not to try to become scripted, but to understand framework and how important asking the right questions and helping people truly is.
That's a huge deal.
Hashtag fuck scripts.
There you go.
So Casey, what's that one final lingering question that's
The one final man, I'm all over the map. I'm just like, talk more. Talk more.
Well, he's got to catch a flight.
Well, no, I honestly, I wanted to close on that question. I wanted to close on that question as to what's holding people back and what you need to do to go forward. And it sounds easy, you know, you gotta just sit yourself down and ask yourself what you're so scared of. Go through the exercise of saying what's the worst that can happen, and then I would say go do it. And I'd like to end on that one myself, just because I think that's big.
And my final question would be, like, why should I buy your book? Like, what am I going to get out of this book?
Here we go.
You're going to get a shortcut in your learning curve of everything that I've went through the last 10 plus years of sales experience and what's helped me become successful. There's some great framework and some great questions and some great ways to position yourself. There's been, I think, over $1.5 million in people who sent me checks that they've used generating off the secrets inside the 21 Proven Secrets. And to me, you know, we didn't touch on it yet, but, you know, one of the things that I did this year is I came in with the 100K Club Blueprint, where I put a daily actionable game plan for a new investor who doesn't understand what they should be doing day in and day out for 100% free. You can go to the link in my Instagram bio. It'll give you some framework of what you should be doing, what your business should look like day in and day out. Even if you don't have a lot of money, it's a lot of stuff that you can do 100% free, because obviously I have things that I monetize and make money off, but I want to make sure you got get your feet in the door money to be able to be successful. So 100K Club, it's our turn, 100k.com is the URL to get that blueprint. At the end of the year in November, we're going to Cosmopolitan in Las Vegas, and we're going to turn that son of a bitch upside down with everybody who's came with me on a journey from zero to $100,000. I have a big passion for helping people. I've committed my entire every day to being loyal and being transparent and helping as many people as I possibly can. And I said at the end of the year, we're going to celebrate it, because there's been some amazing stories and some people been changed.
So as far as like final plugs, you've got the book, you've got the Road to 100K,
the blueprint.
The blueprint to 100K. What else can our community, Propelio, our little community, what can we do for you? How can we help bring value to you?
It's our turn, man. We just support each other. Like, the reality is, I don't.
I think what he just said was learn the damn hashtag. It's not time, it's turn.
Come on, Ryan and Casey.
It's our turn.
So I just really want people to really just buy into the community aspect, buy into sharing and helping as many people as you possibly can, being transparent, helping the people that are in your market. Don't look at people as competition. Look at them as people that you can do business with and grow with.
That right there.
And
it's not competition.
There is no competition. I'm so, like, people ask me about other influencers and things of that nature, and I'm so committed and so locked into the people that I'm actually helping. I don't even know half the people.
Yeah, you talked about that earlier today. Blinders.
Yeah, my blinders on, man. Like people are like, do you know this dude that dude? I'm like, no disrespect, but no, man, because I'm so focused on my actual people that I'm helping on a day and a daily basis.
Yeah.
So many of my followers met me in the last couple of days here at We Live, and they're like, you know my name? Like, how do you, that's crazy. Like, I take pride in knowing who my people are and who I'm helping. And I remember each and every one of you guys.
It's funny you say that, because we have a very passionate, very engaged group on Facebook. On now it's growing on YouTube. And subtle plug, again, drop comments, whatever, talk to us in the comment feed, and we're going to pick 10 random comments to give this book away to. So if you went in on that, get it. But what I was gonna get to is being at the event, the We Live 19, is like people come up to me and like, I'm so and so. I'm like, I mean, I love your content. I see it all the time. I'm like, well, I've never heard of you, man. Like, do you drop comments? He's like, well, no. Bro, like,
Yeah,
get in
engage.
there.
We want to help
Like, if
all
you
of you out
drop
there.
comments in our feed and you're freak with it, guess what? I know who you are. Look at Sonia Ray out of Phoenix. She's our biggest fan, and she's probably already dropped 80 comments in this feed. And you know what? She gets handwritten cards, she gets T-shirts, she gets she gets shout outs on the show because she's engaging. So if you want to be a part of that community, you got to engage.
That's what I tell people. That's all I ask for. Go like my post, man. Go look at. Hey, cut your TV on at home, put the YouTube on, and go to work. Let me run for 8 hours. Just keep it on repeat, man.
Yeah.
Let that ad run the entire time.
Just let it run, man. Like, other than that, man, I just really want to see people succeed. I want to see people help each other and grow.
Cool.
Awesome. I love it.
Any other plugs? Anything else? Anything else? Any other plugs? Or I just said that, didn't I?
Yeah, several times.
Make
cold calling great
make
again.
Cold call great again, baby.
There you go.
That's it, man.
All right, Tony the
Very
closer.
cool.
Casey, you want to kick us out of here?
Well, I'm incredibly inspired to like grow, my community as well. I've always been fearful about that. Honestly, you've inspired me to open up my Instagram. So come follow me, Casey Buys Houses, CASEY Buys Houses. I'd love to engage with everybody, see how we can help each other. I'm in DFW buying properties, buying houses. So I'd love to connect.
And how can we get a hold of you, sir?
Instagram, TRob56. YouTube is Tony the Closer. Twitter is TRob56. If you just put TRob56 and everything, you'll probably find
You'll
me.
find them.
and I'm Ryan S. Harper on pretty much everything, so follow us. Propelio.com. If you're looking for leads, you're looking for websites, you're looking for access to true MLS comps, check out Propelio.com. I mean, obviously they run the lights here, so gotta pay the man.
And I wore this shirt today, Make Cold Calls Great Again, because I just released a cold calling course.
Boom.
So if you guys need more information, if you'd like to know how to be efficient on using the telephone and having that confidence when you talk to a seller to know exactly what to say so you don't have to worry about getting cursed out, I do have a cold calling course that's a 4-week interactive course where you literally get on the calls with me. We go through everything, and I'm talking about hands-on training from me, which obviously I have a ton of experience when it comes to actually cold calling. So there is a link in my Instagram bio for the cold calling course.
You want to drop it here too?
What is that? I got so many URLs right now. Holy crap.
Go to
Let me look it up.
The closersprovenphonesystem.com.
Okay. We'll drop it in the comments.
We'll drop it, yeah.
Closersprovenphonesystem.com.
Excellent.
The Closer's Proven Phone System.
And you know what?
I can get that right.
Hey, there you go. Everybody in the comment feed, drop that website in the comment, because then you might get a opportunity to win this book.
That's gold.
So take Casey,
advantage.
get us out of here.
Yeah, so thanks for joining in. Continue to like, comment, share, because we're all going to be going back into this feed answering questions. If you have questions for Tony, I'm sure he's transparent and he's going to answer them for you. So take advantage, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time.
Peace.
Hey everybody, I'm Ryan with Propelio. If you like what you saw, please subscribe. Turn on those notifications and stick around for more. We have tons of content like this all over our channel. So if you want to learn more about real estate investing, stick around, watch Propelio TV, and we'll see you later.
Propelio TV is sponsored by Noble Mortgage and Investments, CreativeCashflow.com, and Batch Skip Tracing.